So good evening, everybody. It's now after 6:30. We will start. So anybody that has any comments that they would like to share, they can come up to the mic, state their name and address. Emily, do you want to repeat what you were just telling me as far as what we were looking for?
Sure. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We're looking for feedback on what you all feel like are the strengths and the areas of need for the school district, as well as what personal and leadership characteristics you're looking for in our next school leader, our next superintendent. This information will inform parts of this process. One, in terms of strengths and needs, the data will be analyzed along with a community survey and given to our finalists to inform their presentations to the school committee on the key priorities for their entry plans for the district. And then additionally, the school committee will use that information to help drive their questions of the candidates. And then finally, once the superintendent has been selected, this information along with the survey data will be provided for them so they can start to kind of dig in and see what folks are saying. So it's really crucial that we hear from everyone, and we appreciate you being here tonight.
So no particular order. Anybody, whenever they want, come on up.
My name's Maura Johnson. I would say one of the strengths of our school and our community is the personal nature of it. We are a small district, and so what I do like about it is that the teachers are able to somewhat cater to individual needs. They understand the students, and if there's a problem, that they are able to go to parents or get to a root of a problem. You don't get lost in numbers. It's also one of our weaknesses, our rooms for improvement, because kids can get into a certain reputation, a certain niche where it's hard to get out of. With that small nature of the school, there are also opportunities where there's a lack of opportunities for sometimes challenges. So in my case, my kids need additional AP classes, or they need more challenges that sometimes aren't available with a small school district. So with that said, knowing that each person is their own individual, but I'm also agreeing that a school is a society, a community. You cannot cater to one kid. You have to bring all of them to be better. What I find is that we're really struggling with is accountability. So I am hoping that a superintendent can come in for both schools and be able to keep the kids accountable and the teachers accountable and the parents accountable. So we go back to acting as a community so that somehow it's not just one person running the show, it's not the kids running the show. I know that's more of a high school, middle school type of problem, but I would like to kind of take back our school district and put it back into the hands of the superintendent, the staff, and the parents. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Angela Gurkis. I've lived in West Boylston actually my entire life. I went to this high school. I have a kid in both schools. I think our strength is definitely our community. I think we all come together as parents. We do live in a wonderful town. However, I've seen as a parent a lot of changes, especially here. Not positive ones that I've come encountered. So I think accountability, like Maura said, is definitely for staff and for teachers and students. I think students are allowed to get away with a lot and are not held accountable, and I don't think that that's something that should be happening. I also feel it's sad that teachers are going to be let go. I think there needs to be a superintendent that knows how to do strong grant writing, get money for our schools. I also think there needs to be way more for our kids, especially in school and after school. I feel like it's like a lot of sports and not really a lot of clubs for them to do, because not all kids do sports. But those are I think we need a strong leader in here, somebody that's going to speak up for the kids and, like I said, hold administration accountable, because I feel like that is not being done right now, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Sorry, I'm short. I'm Tracy Karen. First of all, I want to thank you for holding this listening session tonight. I appreciate this opportunity. Obviously, the superintendent of schools plays a central role in shaping the educational experience for the community's children and future generations. The right superintendent will not only possess the necessary experience to manage the district's operations, but demonstrate a deep understanding of the unique needs of this community. The new superintendent will be entering our district at a pivotal time. We have increasing enrollment at Major Edwards, we have overcrowded classrooms, impending budget cuts, uncertain funding sources, as well as the potential for a new building on the horizon. As a small town, our resources are more limited and relationships are built on personable connections. So I think it's essential that the new superintendent embodies the following characteristics and qualities. Personability. We need someone who can genuinely connect with the community, the students, and the parents, building trust and fostering strong relationships. Proven leadership. We need a leader with experience and a track record of success, someone capable of collaborating with teachers, administrators, and community members to solve complex challenges. Innovation. We need an individual who can think creatively, bring fresh ideas to the table, while staying true to the core values that define our community. And lastly, advocacy. Above all else, we need a leader who will stand up for our students and advocate passionately for the future of our children in our schools. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Jason Ponticelli, 56 Rivington Drive. I just want to thank the committee very much for your time and energy. I know this is not an easy task, and obviously this is of the ultimate importance, is finding a new leader for our district. Whomever the committee decides to go with and the two finalists, they have very, very big shoes to fill. I firmly believe Mr. Mahar is a tremendous communicator, and so that, again, as some of the other people here in the audience have stated, being an effective communicator and having interpersonal skills is of the utmost importance. I'd also concur with the fact that holding administration, teachers, and students accountable is of the utmost importance as well. I think we have some loose ends in this district that we certainly can work on, and as we move forward, I'm really, really interested into seeing and meeting these candidates in the near future. So again, thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you, Jason.
Hello, Kim Terrio. I grew up in this town, born, raising my own two kids. I have a middle schooler and a ninth grader. Some of my biggest concerns, one is the accountability piece for all stakeholders. But another thing I think that we are really lacking, and I would love a strong superintendent to look into, is just a way to keep our kids here. We have a terrible retention rate. In my son's class alone, he's a freshman, there's at least 20, if not more, students that have left, and we already have a very small class. I think there's maybe 50 of them left. And I know West Boylston's a small town. I think there were like 80 kids in my graduating class. So that's kind of our track record in West Boylston. But I think something that we are lacking in the school is just opportunity for our kids. Going through the electives with my son for, selections for his courses, for his electives, I was really saddened by the lack of opportunity. So I would love to have a superintendent that can really look at this and be a visionary to think, where is education going? You know, trade schools seem to be the thing. So somebody that can try to incorporate some of that. I understand financially that's tough. I'm not expecting him to pull, or her to pull money from the air, but just to consider those things. We really need to keep these kids here to build that strong community. And again, a good communicator is huge. I think Mr. Maha, from what my experience has been, has done a pretty good job with that. He's not perfect, but nobody really is. And then as a teacher myself, not here, but in another district, support for the teachers. I don't know what kind of support they're getting now, but that's huge. So if they feel that they belong and that they're wanted and their input matters, then it's going to just build stronger classrooms. It's going to build just a better sense of community, and that trickles down. So just a leader that really values the input of his staff, I think would be very important as well. I think that's it. I might.
Thank you. I guess we'll wait a few more minutes to see if anybody else is going to arrive or if anybody has anything additional they'd like to add.
Can you share the next steps process?
Sure. So actually, I think we're at the end. This was probably the second to last step. April 9th at 5 o'clock, we'll start conducting our interviews. We'll have one at 5 and one at 6. That's preceding our regular school committee meeting. The agenda, I don't believe, has been posted yet, but the draft of it is essentially to interview the two candidates, make a motion to select one of them, go into an executive session to finalize a contract, and then as long as the school committee and candidate that is selected agrees, vote to approve that contract all that night. So ideally, we have a new superintendent on April 9th. And then just kind of to reiterate what Emily started with is all this data from this meeting, along with some other stuff, will be provided to them in advance so that they can prepare an energy plan as part of their interview process.
And it'll also be provided to school committees, so that can help drive school committee questions.
So just as a follow-up of the process, is the plan, and again, this is more for the public, but is the plan then to have this candidate, once somebody is decided upon, to shadow Mr. Mahar at all? Is it they just come in July 1st? What?
I don't think that's been discussed, but I think that's something that we could look at. I don't think that's an issue. I mean, the person's start date would be July 1st. So if we could work something out between now and then, that would probably be good. But I think it's up for discussion.
Thank you.
Just to add, they also, they did do a shadowing. The candidates came in here and shadowed both schools last week.
They also had the opportunity to meet with students and staff at both schools, and that feedback will go into the school committee packet to help inform questions and decision-making as well.
All right, I guess if there's nothing else, we'll wrap it up. But thank you, everybody that attended. We really appreciate, you coming out and giving us some feedback so that we could use this going forward. Thank you.